So, what's up, brother?
Not much.
We're just jumping right into it today. Welcome to Pink Sock Podcast, everyone. I am your host, Mike Usnick, and this is Tony Two Toes Matai.
It's Matei, but it's okay.
Matai.
You're not an English teacher, so I don't expect that out of you.
I call you Matthew, but all fucked up. That's how.
I don't know where the W comes from, but okay, that works.
No, like it sounds like how a drunk person would say Matthew. Matai.
Oh, jeez.
So how you been, brother?
No, not bad, man.
So we would like to give a shout out to our Patreons before we get this fucking show on the road. This shit show, as we like to call it.
The nightmare.
The nightmare that is Pink Sock Podcast. Thank you, Garak, Hot Amy, Gloria, David Dowdle. If you want to become a Patreon today and a loyal Pink Socketeer, you can just visit www.patreon.com/official Mike Usnick, and you could pick from one of these three tiers. You can do the $1 tier where you get a shout out on the show. I'm getting sidetracked because Bryan just joined us in the backstage area and all I see is nipples and chin. But anyway, and then $5 you can get a shout out of private chat and all that fun stuff. And you also get to that one you just get to pick a topic, and then the $10 one you get to have a private chat with us. Let's check out this guy. Let's just look what the hell's going on with this guy.
What's happening?
What's up, brother?
Going?
This is pretty early for me, guys.
I noticed. Yeah, it's like 9, ain't it?
I got on right on time. I'm like 1 minute late. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I told him, I was like, hey, man, he's a musician, so it's good. He'd be lucky to get up before the crack of noon his time.
I had to take this guy out.
Look at him. What's his name?
He's Bruno. He had to go out, so I had to get him downstairs. So 1 minute.
Oh.
Bad, not bad.
Oh, we've had people 30 minutes late. We can
It's rock star time, man. What are you talking about? It's good.
This is 9 o'clock in the morning Vegas time. So holy shit.
Damn. How the hell did you wake your ass up?
Alarms too. I did it. I'm here.
So how's things going out in Vegas?
Pretty shitty, actually. Pretty crap. It's just there's nothing going on here. The situation is still kind of slow. That's for sure. They got to open things up.
That pandemic really fucked everything up out in Vegas, I'm sure.
It's screwed everybody, man. I mean, for me to sit here and whine about it, it's happened to so many people. It didn't just happen to a couple. It happened to every entertainer in this town. So we find ourselves heading out to the Midwest, every 6 weeks or so, every 6 to 8 weeks, because those are the only people who are open.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of things being fucked, don't you have some shows coming up?
Yeah, we do. We have we're playing at a nudist resort this weekend.
Oh, nice.
You got to do what you got to do, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we actually, and that's about it. We're going out to Oklahoma in the middle of November, and then we're heading back to the Midwest in after Christmas, and that's about it right now until Vegas decides that it needs some tourists. They got to get this thing going soon. That's all I got to say.
So are you guys still doing the shows at the Twin Arrows, or is that canceled?
is as far as I'm concerned canceled. They haven't even called me to let me know. So that's the thing that's going on here is people aren't even letting anybody know that their stuff is canceled. That's just really it's really messed up, you know,
Mhm.
because we played 300 days a year at least, and we went from that to, you know, like everybody else, you know,
Yeah.
overnight just kind of went by.
Oh yeah.
Especially like the people that are like huge acts have no shows like that.
Oh yeah. For the
Like,
first time in my life, I'm lucky I'm not famous. At least I have some gigs, you know.
There's bands like Mastodon I seen the other day where they had to file for unemployment.
Shit.
yeah.
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 That doesn't surprise me. It's sad all around. You know, don't judge. Okay, don't judge.
You're on the Pink Sock podcast. We're named after a prolapsed asshole. We don't judge here.
Okay, so I'm gonna get judged for this. I just shaved this morning because I took a gig this weekend out in Utah playing the Benny guy in an Abbott tribute because I'm like, what the hell? I'll go work. You know.
Hey, it's a paycheck, brother.
I was about ready to bring that up.
Yeah, I know. I figured like if this is if I was gonna take some shit, it would be here. You know. So I did it and I killed it. I don't care.
There you go.
So how brutal was that crowd? Was there a lot of mosh pits?
No.
Could you imagine?
No fight. You're gonna be shocked, but no fights broke out at an Abbott tribute. Can you?
Oh, well, shit.
So
That's
it was great. It was great. I can't complain, man. There was like there was 1,300 people a night at the show, and I'm like, yeah, it's like fuck, finally, you know. So,
if you want a brutal crowd though, start a Backstreet Boys tribute band. It's
Oh
always
Jesus.
good. I couldn't.
You stop at ABBA.
Yeah. Yeah. At least Abbott played instruments, you know.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
So you guys have new merch out, I see.
We do, yeah. We sold a ton of it at the Sturgis Bike Rally and the whole subsequent summer tour that we did, and we actually have new music coming out. It's still being mixed, so I wasn't able to get you anything.
Mhm.
But we're excited about it, you know, because you know this stuff isn't gonna last forever. We're all gonna get back to normal soon. So we'll have new music out by the time it all happens.
Yeah.
How did it affect Sturgis? I don't think it affected it at all, probably.
Sturgis was awesome.
You can't tell those bikers to wear masks. That's just not gonna happen.
No. It was really cute. It was really cute to see the couple of Antifa guys out there protesting. You know, the bikers thought that was really cute.
Yeah, I seen that and I'm like, that's not gonna go well.
I do that. I do that. I do the rally every year, and they threaten every year to come, and I'm like, oh, isn't that adorable?
They're gonna come out there and threaten the Hell's Angels. I'd love to see that.
I know. It's like it's the funniest thing in the world. But Sturgis was awesome. It was everybody that you ran into was actually more appreciative to be there than normal, more happy to hear some live music, and it wasn't the crowd that they thought it would be. Like it was the 80th, so they thought they were going to get 500,000 people. I think they must have. My uneducated guess would be 150, 200,000 people in the whole area. So it was still really cool.
That's still a lot of people because I've been to that town a million times, and that's not a big town.
No, not at all. We're playing there New Year's Eve, and you know it's just local. Like it's what 14,000 people or so there. So
yeah, maybe tops.
Yeah.
Are you playing out at the Buffalo Chip?
No, we're playing at the Knuckle.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah, cool room, really cool room. Great people out there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
South Dakotans are really nice people.
Yeah. We go through it seems like every couple of months we head up to Wyoming, we head up to Casper, and we have tons of friends and fans up in that neighborhood. Then we head up to Sturgis and come back, and they're the ones that have saved our asses through this, you know. So
oh yeah,
shout out to all them.
So are shows any different at Sturgis since the pandemic, or like do the people have anything different?
No, well, all they did was they had hand washing stations all over the place. It's not to say that people weren't taking it seriously. It's not to say that. I think there's this perception that all that kind of crowd was walking around licking handrails and making out with each other, not understanding that there was something going on there. People aren't stupid. They know there's something going on, but they're choosing to not live their lives that way. That's all there is to it.
That's admirable though, to live your life that way instead of worrying.
The biker community's been that way for generations.
Yeah. It's
Like,
you get sick, you go home, you stay in bed, you get better, you get out of bed. It's kind of
pretty much.
yeah. So I'm not trying to make light of what's going on. I just kind of I'm on that side of things. I'm on the, people can disagree with me all they want. I respect that, but I mean, nobody. It's funny if it's so contagious. Nobody in my band. One person in my band got a little bit sick, and that was about it. And we're all good. So knock on wood.
Right.
Yeah.
right after this, the headline.
I'm gonna all this breakout. Bryan Duffy friggin' collapses after King's podcast.
He collapses on the air after saying, "We're good."
Not to see her.
So I
midget wrestling.
I saw that you enjoy some midget wrestling.
I loved it. It was awesome. It was awesome. What would you like me to say about it?
Are you a regular wrestling fan, or do you just like midget wrestling?
Midget only.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This was good too. I mean, I hadn't seen that stuff since I was a kid. So to be, I loved it when I was a little kid, and to see it live in a thing. I mean, the thing about the Knuckle is they're a really funny place. They have an indoor rodeo there too, if you can believe it.
Yep.
The stage we're basically our stage is getting smacked into by bulls, and then they have midget wrestling. So I'm working for them.
Yeah, the knuckle is pretty wild, man.
Yeah. So definitely shout out to them. They do it differently all the time, and it's cool. So.
The thing I always laugh about midget wrestling though is like they have a normal sized wrestling ring. Like that's got to be scary to be a midget and climb to the top rope in a regular size ring.
Well, this one guy named Hank, I remember he did the big grand finale. You climb up to the top of the pole and he did the somersault to land on somebody, and I saw his leg. It kind of snapped, and he was on the ground. I'm on the stage looking, and I could see him mouth the words. He goes, "I don't fucking feel so well." But he got up and finished his fight too. So it was pretty funny.
I've never honestly seen midget wrestling in person. I've seen it on TV.
Well, if they bring it back to the Knuckle next rally, you know where to go.
All I imagine next time is just a bunch of midgets wearing masks.
Yeah. You know what's really funny is I'm Canadian, right? Or I came from Canada like 13 years ago, and it's just funny the political correctness in Canada, because I'm at the Knuckle, and it's the sign says midget wrestling. I'm like, they call them midgets here, and they're all they're like yeah, and I'm like, wow, that you don't say that where I'm from. You say little people.
What's crazy is 9 times out of 10, I have friends that are midgets and they don't care. It's usually people that aren't that care.
You also fuck midgets, Mike.
Shut up. Okay, I fucked one midget in my life and I get picked on for it.
Spun her like a dreidel, you did.
So it's like you bang one midget and you're Mike the midget banger for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that sounds like a wrestling name. Could you imagine? I'm in midget wrestling, but I'm like the normal sized person, and I'm Mike the midget banger. I'm like Val Venus. No, Brian, I lost my virginity to a midget.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
Creepy at the same time.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good confidence builder right there because it looks bigger.
That's what I needed in my life. So this is a great start. Have you fucked a midget, Brian?
I haven't. I can honestly say I haven't.
You should try it.
All that time living in Sin City.
No, we've had midgets in our videos. If you ever seen any of our videos, we've always tried to get as many midgets as possible in our videos, but never shagged one.
You should try it.
Okay.
It's very short lived, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you don't kill them.
Yeah,
That's
like,
what
my wife is in the other room. And all of a sudden she just turns around and looks. Oh, God.
hey, if you sleep with a midget, it's not cheating. It's only half cheating.
Oh, okay. I'll let her
It's only half cheating.
Not cheating if they're under 4 feet. Okay.
Yes, 4 feet. 4 feet tops. So you did a live stream lockdown recently. What was that like?
Cool. It was different. I mean, I'd never done anything like that before. Playing to nobody, but
Right.
playing to a lot of people. But it was cool. We had I think we had almost 500 people watching us, which I didn't expect, and it was really cool to do it, and people were really generous with that too, so we haven't done another one since, because I kind of thought everybody started doing them, people were doing them all the time, and it almost like devalued it, if that makes any sense. When somebody's doing them twice a week, it's like, oh, here, okay. Doing what they have to do. I'm not hating on them, but I thought, once is enough. Let's.
You started getting the feeling that it was possibly like a trendy thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought, fuck this. I don't want this to become any kind of norm, because this isn't to me acceptable to not play to people. And it's like we've been asked to do like some drive-in shows, where people. You know what I mean? They drive up in their cars and you play a gig. I'm like, no, that's like, this isn't becoming acceptable to me. That's the biggest thing, is this whole, like, little by little trying to train us for certain social norms to change and become acceptable. And that, like, having human beings together and separating us and not being able to mingle, that's not acceptable to me. So I won't do that kind of stuff anymore, to be honest with you.
Could you imagine though the drive-in like concerts at like a Lamb of God concert or something? Just
Yes.
like a freaking demolition derby breaks out.
Dude, like
an aerial shot of that, every car would be like,
Metallica did that drive-in show, and they were charging like $150 a carload just to see them play the same set they've been playing for 30 years.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
If you want to see a better Metallica set, just go see Megadeth. Just
Yeah. There's that.
So anybody who wants to follow Garage Boys, you can find them on Facebook at Garage Boys Las Vegas, or on Instagram at Garage Boys Las Vegas, or on the website, The Garage Boys Band. Is there another social media that you have? That's the only two I could find.
Well, there's the website itself, thegarageboysband.com.
Yeah.
Does anybody check websites anymore? But
what are websites?
Yeah, it's just thegarageboysband.com and the Facebook one, and that's about it, really. We're
The only
operation.
The only websites people visit anymore is porn and social media. That's the only.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Which, speaking of, everybody knows this question's coming. What's the weirdest porn you've watched?
Wow.
You live in Vegas. You've probably seen some in person.
Well, there is a couple of those nefarious kind of places you can go. Not that I've been to any of them, but there's
Donkey
Ranch.
I've never been to the Green Door. Anyways, geez, man, that's a good question. You might have to let that one bake for a minute. Weirdest porn. Well, it's usually German, so
Yeah.
Or
you have to let that one bake for a minute. I don't know. I don't know yet.
German or Japanese?
Yeah,
Cartman, what is your mom doing in a German Shiza film?
The reoccurring answer that we got earlier on in an
Fruit
episode
Loops.
was my buddy saw this guy eat Fruit Loops out of a woman's asshole.
How? That's really gross. Can I rat Kathy out here for a second?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
When we did our little test run last night, she said, in her beautiful English accent, she said, "Whatever you do, don't fucking ask Mike about Fruit Loops. Don't."
I was impressed because I've never thought of that because I've been doing dishes this whole time. I've been all I had to do.
Sorry, Kathy. I didn't think it was too much of a secret. She just said, don't ask him about Fruit Loops.
It's not a secret. I mean, I never personally got off to that video, but
That's really bad. I mean, all the I mean, I guess like I'm just not that dangerous. Any kind of porn that involves excrement and especially cereal, it's just not gonna work for me. You know, teach his own though.
how about when people put their arms in there? Is that?
Oh, the whole what are they fisting?
Fisting.
Yeah.
Fisting thing. And once again, that's to each his own. I guess that's more of a magic trick to me.
I mean, if they really want to shit pancakes for a week, that's up to them.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a joke I heard. This guy said that he put his arm in a woman. She said, "Put your other arm in there," and she's like, "Now clap." He's like, "I can't." And she's like, "Pretty tight, huh?"
That's horrible.
So
what's it like living out in Vegas?
I absolutely love Las Vegas. I love it. I live right downtown. Are you guys familiar with Las Vegas at all?
No, but we're going to be moving to Phoenix next year.
Cool. Well, you're going to be,
Not that far away.
You're going to be 4 hours away. You'll be out here. Actually, we're doing a gig out in Cave Creek in the next couple of weeks too. It's like you'll love it out there. It's beautiful part of the country. But I love Las Vegas. We live right downtown, right by the Fremont Street canopies.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and we're in this. Well, this is my back patio. I don't know if you can really see anything, but just hanging out with Bruno, chilling out, having morning coffee, and it's nice. My neighbors are awesome, and it's turning into a little bit of an arts district out here. So I dig it, man.
A lot better than Canada, eh?
Yeah, there's some things that I really miss about my home, but I can always go visit there.
Mm-hmm. Have you been back since? Or?
No, I haven't. I was supposed to go back in June. My hometown, which really shocked me. I'm from a little small town called North Bay, Ontario. I won't be offended if you haven't heard of it. It's a little small place. 4 hours north of Toronto, and they inducted me in their Hall of Records for musicians. I was really flattered, and I was supposed to go up there and see all my old buddies and have a few drinks, and COVID kind of knocked that one out on me. So,
well, good thing is flights are cheap.
Yeah.
When the ABBA thing that I did this weekend, that's a Canadian production company, and they all have to, when they go home, they have to guarantee a quarantine for 14 days. So they've got to go lock down. I don't know how they enforce that kind of stuff, but they've got to lock themselves away for 2 weeks. So what am I supposed to do? Fly over to Canada, lock myself up for 2 weeks? Like, I'll just wait till things get better,
Yeah.
Mhm. That's the best thing you can do.
Exactly.
So I read that you opened for Toby Keith.
We actually jammed with him. We had,
How was that? That's kind of like how well does rock and country mix?
well, we were just playing up at once in a while we play up at Toby Keith's, and it's kind of funny because everybody knows we're a rock band. But I guess we can be a rock band that plays a couple of country songs once in a while. And Toby just walked on stage. And he hit our guitar player, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "Which my songs you boys know?" And we're all looking at each other, and we're like, "We know one Toby Keith song, so okay, let's play that 6 times with him." You know,
That's one more than I know.
hey, that's how we make our living in this town. You gotta know everything. You know,
It's like any patriotic country song. That's Toby Keith right there.
yeah. You know, he was really cool. You know, because the one thing you hear about a lot of these guys, they can be pretty rough on people. He was cool, absolutely cool to us. So I can't complain. It's on YouTube. You can find it somewhere on YouTube. It's, Garage Boys. I think it's Garage Boys jamming with Toby Keith or something like that. So good
I
time.
heard he's like super tall too.
He's huge. He's a big kid. Yeah, for sure. He's a big boy. I wouldn't have messed with him.
So Kath wants to know in the chat, what made you choose to join the Garage Boys and move to Vegas?
That's a good question. I came down to Vegas to fill in for a guy, and the agency that booked that band just said, "Hey, do you want to join this outfit that we're putting together?" And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And he's like, "Oh, we're calling it the Garage Boys, and we're putting mechanic suits on you guys and all this kind of thought." And honestly, I'll be honest with you, at the time, I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." I don't know. This doesn't sound like. So I did. I figured, okay, what the hell? Come to Vegas for a year, and do it. And then I kind of ended up taking over the band and managing it. And it turned out to be, you know, the smartest decision I ever made in my life. So I'm really happy I toughed out the first year. The first year was kind of weird for me, not being around lakes and trees and whatever. And then then the desert really grew on me. I love it. I love it out here now. So that's really about it. I just kind of, the agency didn't seem to be too interested in continuing us. So I took over and started booking it and kept it going for that. It's been 13 years now.
Damn, that's the longest year of your life.
I know.
You guys just got done going through a brutal summer too.
Yeah. Well, luckily, like I said, I spent most of my summer up in the Midwest. So I didn't get nailed with any of the 100+ stuff that everybody has to deal with. The only time, like, I'm just warning everybody, Vegas, the only time it's a bit of a drag here is July and August, like 110+ every single day. If you're not used to that, it feels like there's a hair dryer in your face.
Yeah.
I feel I have a friend that lives out in Vegas, and he'll send me the weather in the summer. I'm like,
My school rep from MMI in Phoenix, where I'm going next year, said, "Yeah, they broke like 95 days of 115+." I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just warning you, Phoenix is even worse.
Yeah.
Phoenix is even worse, man. It in the summertime. Like, I love it out there, but I don't want to be there in July. Like, just don't come and hang out here in July. That's the only thing I'm telling you guys.
So in Vegas, do you like live in town or do you live like on the outskirts?
I live right downtown.
Damn.
Yeah, I can see City Hall from our upper deck. It's really, really cool down here. I love what they've done to downtown Las Vegas. Since I moved here 13 years ago, you didn't walk where I lived at night. You didn't do that. That was
No.
bad idea. Now it's a lot of tap houses, restaurants. There's Bruno barking at someone. Hey, come on. Tap houses, restaurants, all mom and pop stuff, local little businesses, you know. So I dig it out here. Come on, get out of here. Come on.
It's nice that you guys have a lot of mom and pops, because out here all we have is like maybe one mom and pop and then like a Walmart. So what do you do while you're on the strip? Give us a day in the life of Bryan Duffy. You hit gambling, or what do you do?
Funnily enough, I don't gamble. I'm pretty boring. I do. I'm like a microbrew fan, so I like going out and drinking. There's a little place called Banger Brewery down the street, and I like going out there because my life has been crazy enough with being in a band, that when I do go out, yeah, like I hate to say it, but I'm not that exciting. It's usually going out for beers and watching other people act like idiots.
Have you done your fair share of acting like an idiot in your younger days?
Absolutely, and I still do. Don't get me wrong. I still act like a total jackass.
So you live in Sin City. What is some of the craziest shit you've seen? I want to hear some of these Vegas stories.
Crazy shit. There's a when you work down on the strip, the thing is like we're a house band at Carnival Court for the longest time, right at Harrah's. Every day there's something like just every day. It's like every day somebody is face planting, from it's so dry out here, so someone's drinking too much, and you're like, he's going down, whap. But I mean, there's the craziest stuff of late I saw with getting caught right in the middle of the riots, just being at Mickey Finn's, and being locked in the place from all that idiocy that was going on. But I mean, in terms of really crazy stuff, I mean, it'll all come to me. I guess the last time we were playing at Fremont Street, there's this big crowd, and then this guy, he's staying there, and he's kind of drunk and kind of homeless, and there's these beautiful like Texas cheerleader kind of girls around him, and he pulls out his little wiener. He just starts peeing on them. Like,
Mike, what are you doing out in Vegas, man?
Shut up.
Hey, that kind of stuff just happens every day. You almost get desensitized to it,
Did he like get arrested or anything, or they just like that just happens?
They kicked him off the street. They didn't even arrest him.
What the hell? He's just pissing on people again. Just let him go.
Oh, he's homeless. It's fine.
Yeah, this out of here. That's like Fremont has its share of characters. That's for sure.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, if you guys haven't been here, that's kind of, if you want to see all the weirdos, that's where you go. It's pretty fun though.
So it sounds almost as crazy as my family reunion. But anyway.
Well, I haven't been, so I can't compare it to anything.
That's where Mike goes to pick up chicks.
Shut the fuck up. She was a third cousin. It doesn't count. But no. So what are you looking the most forward to once things go back to normal? Like, it's the one thing.
Back to normal. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just like doing what we normally do. Is just see that picture you just showed. That just going back to playing music again, full time, and enjoying it, because like I haven't. Funny enough, I haven't taken this shit for granted at all. I love it. I'll do it until nobody will give me a gig anymore, kind of thing. So I just want to get back to that again. I think
playing shows is a drag.
What's that?
Not playing shows anymore is a drag.
It completely is. Yeah. Like, especially when that's all I've done. That's all I've done my whole life. So all of a sudden you're like, what the fuck do I do now? It's like, my wife loves quarantine. She's like every single day. She's like, oh, this is beautiful. But I want to get out. I want to get out and play. So
the positive about this, though, is it makes us like realize what we have, and we were taking everything for granted.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I think a lot of the things that are not. I mean, especially when you've seen a lot of people walking out of the bathroom and not washing their hands, and you're always like, oh, good. Now you see everybody washing their hands. It's kind of, there's some things that have changed a bit for the better sanitation wise. But I hope it makes all the people in my business, especially, not take what they do for granted anymore. I mean, I've heard so many musicians, I gotta go play, I gotta go gig at this place, kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, well, you have a gig,
Right? You at least have a job.
Yeah.
You're going.
If you don't have a gig anymore, start bitching, and that's I think what this has brought a lot of us down to. It's like, oh yeah, that was really cool to earn a living doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
But the thing that has me thinking is, how long are people really going to keep washing their hands and shit?
Well, I mean, obviously the people that listened are gonna, and people that are really dumb aren't. That's the way it is. I mean, I mean, I'm not, obviously, nobody likes, everybody hates when some person who has no medical background or anything states their opinion. So
Yeah.
but that is pretty much basic knowledge. Keep your freaking self clean. You're going to be in a lot better position of not getting ill.
Another thing I hate is when like people just with an MD in their name talks about a thing that they did not study. Like they're like, I know a lot about viruses. You're a fucking chiropractor.
Yeah.
like, shut up.
Yeah, I guess you could say that in any line of business. It's like if somebody's not a jazz musician and they're telling you, John Coltrane, he was overrated. Like, would you play sax, you jackass? No.
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So all walks of life, and I think that's kind of scary about what we watch, is that there are a lot of non-experts. They're experts, but they're also non-experts. Blah 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 blah. This blah. I'm like, okay, I don't believe any of you guys anymore. You've all lost credibility.
There's this one woman that was circulating on the internet talking about this miracle drug for COVID and blah blah blah. And if you look deeper into her, she believes that the reason why AIDS exists is because you have sex with demons in your sleep. I don't think I'm going to take her advice.
She just kind of blew it after that. The demon part. It's like, oh, okay.
I have sex with demons when I'm awake. What the fuck are they talking about?
That's hilarious.
They're great in the sack.
Yeah.
So did you know what a pink sock was before you came on here?
I didn't. Explain to me what it is again.
It is when you have anal sex unlubricated and it pulls your asshole inside out.
Oh,
and that dangling mass is called a pink sock.
Ew. Okay. There you go. Can I ask a question? What inspired that to be the name of the show?
Because people like you don't know what it is, and you start to question it, and you're like, it sounds cute and innocent. And then you look it up, like, oh, fuck.
It really started from a name of a thrash metal solo album that I want to put together.
That too.
That I have so aptly named Pink Sock Mayhem at the Old Folks Home.
Nice.
The album artwork idea is Betty White is anal fucking Donald Trump in an old folks home, and as she's pulling out, he has a pink sock.
Nice.
It's very artistic.
Obviously, she's got a strap on.
Oh yeah,
Betty White,
big old veiny black one.
We're talking about Betty White. She has a big old cock.
Family dinner just got awkward. You all should know better than watching this podcast while eating dinner.
So I got a question. Speaking of Betty White, if you had the opportunity, would you bang Betty White?
50 years ago? Yeah.
Why?
She was kind of cute in her own way. Did you ever see those old Mary Tyler Moore shows?
Yeah, she was banging.
Wasn't she like the real innocent kind of slutty lady kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she was pretty cute in her younger days. I can't imagine now.
Well, nowadays you would have to, out of respect.
Out of respect, yeah.
You'd have to. Oh, come on. You don't have to even look. You can just be like, okay, Betty.
No. I think you have to ask yourself the same question, would you? You know, no.
I've eaten
Mike would totally get a hold of that grilled cheese.
Yeah, I don't care. Have you ever ate
Yeah.
Arby's?
Say it again.
Have you ever ate at Arby's?
You know what? No,
Oh,
I haven't. I've never eaten at Arby's before.
thanks for ruining Arby's for me, Mike.
It looks
So-
it looks even grosser now that you've compared Arby's to Betty White. So
I would, yeah. Well, you could bang it without eating it.
ew.
You could
Oh.
I almost prefer to go back to the Cheerios.
Would you eat those Cheerios, or would you rather eat Betty White if you had to choose?
Well, there's a choice in this.
Yeah, like you have to.
So it's a. I think I just take the bullet. It's really,
Because you're like either I get some kind of weird infection,
yeah.
or I gotta fuck Betty White.
Mike, I'm pretty sure if you fuck Betty White, you'll get an STD from the 1800s.
I'd get the bubonic plague.
But this is the thing. I like Betty White. It's like,
She'll probably outlive all of us.
yeah, I like her. Her and Keith Richards are gonna rule the world someday.
Her, Keith Richards, and Ozzy.
Yeah.
I keep seeing posts. People are like, "Ozzy's dying." I'm like, "No, he's not."
No, Ozzy's gonna be in one of those little intubation things, just his head alone, like on The Simpsons.
Or Futurama.
yeah.
Dude, I think if Ozzy went, it's not going to be some long drawn out thing. It'll probably just be like Lemmy. Like one day he just wakes up and there it is. He's dead.
Oh yeah. Just
Like-
like
Nothing leading up to it. It's just going to be a surprise.
well, what a life though. What a life though. Ozzy.
Dude.
He's lived the lifetime of like 7 people.
Oh, I know. He couldn't possibly have any regrets. If I was Ozzy, I wouldn't have any regrets. You know.
Have
You know, the saddest thing is that documentary they did about the 9 Lives of Ozzy. He still believes to this day that he hasn't made it.
Yeah, he don't think he's made it yet.
Wow.
And in the documentary, he said he still hasn't released his White Album or his Abbey Road. Like, he doesn't feel like he's made it because there's so much negative when it comes to his name that he doesn't feel like he's righted his wrong.
That's between him and himself, man. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, we, the three of us, I could probably agree he's made it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, holy shit, what else can you do?
I mean, he did that with his first record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, he was the first person to do this, by the way. He was in the biggest band in history, made it on his own, even though the record labels would not sign him because he was a drug addict. And then he became a reality show host. You can't fucking beat that.
And played how many millions of people has he collectively played to? You know,
Right?
those first 4 Black Sabbath albums are unreal. I mean, just by those alone, the guy can hang up his jacket on all that. That stuff is amazing. So
And you can go to any fucking country and they will know
Mhm.
just by his first name.
exactly.
Ozzy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I know that the chick at concierge forgets who I am every other day, and it's like, Ozzy can go anywhere. You know. So
everywhere I go, people confuse me for celebrities like Bob Ross. I get the singer of Coheed and Cambria, Claudio Sanchez.
Who's your favorite band? Well, since she's live in Vegas, it's not Five Finger Death Punch, is it?
It's ABBA.
I'd be shocked it is neither. Okay, I'm a weirdo. I have favorite bands for what it is. It's like, you know, like let's say Black Sabbath. How could you say Black Sabbath is your favorite band? It would be my favorite early 70s hard rock band. But I'm a huge Frank Zappa fan. That's one of my
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and you are never going to see the Garage Boys ever play one Frank Zappa song because I want to keep my job. You know, like there's no,
Oh, come on. Why does it hurt when I pee?
you know, there'd probably be two dudes in the audience going, "Fuck yeah," you know, and the rest of them are gonna be like, "Yeah, okay."
You could probably get away with a dirty love.
I don't know, like if you can. I don't know. I don't know if you could get away with any of them. I used to a long time ago. I used to play Bobby Brown Goes Down.
Oh God, bad choice.
Nobody got it. You know,
Nobody.
nobody got it. I briefly played Catholic Girls in a band. Nobody got it except that's like that one dude. Said, yeah, I can't believe they played Catholic Girls. Holy shit!
With Zappa, it's crazy. A lot of people don't know who Zappa is nowadays, but he's done a lot for music.
Oh, absolutely. And he's also brought back like there's a composer he loved called Edgar Varese, and
Mhm.
nobody would ever heard of that guy again. And Edgar Varese was a percussion genius with his music. Zappa was the master. Like
Zappa also discovered Alice Cooper.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
And if you look at all the people that Zappa brought into his bands, all the great players that that have played all the studio stuff, like Vinnie Colaiuta, Warren, all those guys, Warren Cucurullo, Terry Bozzio, the list is just like all of these geniuses. Steve Vai, that he brought to the table and showed the world. Look who these guys are.
did you hear about when Steve Vai tried out the first time for Frank Zappa's band?
I haven't. No.
Frank Zappa told him he's not good enough.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like 17 at the time, and he was still an excellent player. But Zappa asked him, he's like, play this riff. And he played it. He's like, all right, play it in R&B style. He did. He's like, all right, now play it. And I forget what style he said, like jazz. And he's like, that's impossible. And Zappa's like, nope. He picked up the guitar, played it in that style, said, you're not good enough, kid.
Wow.
I'm like, wow. That's the story I heard. I don't know if it's
Zappa's
true,
unreal, man.
but like the dude was a god on guitar, but he rarely ever was the one playing live unless it was a solo.
Yeah, he was Zappa in Zappa's autobiography. He self-admittedly said, "I wouldn't get my own gig. I'd be turned down for my own gig." Like, whoa, okay.
He was way too picky. He was a perfectionist.
Yeah, he was. I played with a bass player years ago. I don't know, musicians tell tall tales, but he was a badass bass player, and his claim to fame in the Toronto scene was that he auditioned for Zappa, and so he auditioned for Zappa in the early '80s, and he went into the audition and said, "Hey Frank, how you doing, man? I got to let you know, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. I'm a little bit nervous, but here we go." And he goes, "You're nervous?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous." And he's like, how do you expect to play in front of 20,000 people? You can go now." No, didn't even get to play a note. Just got told to leave. So,
Right. I heard Zappa was a great guy, but if you were auditioning, he could be a complete asshole because he knew what he wanted.
Yeah.
That's like Dave Mustaine, man. You're either going to show up 110% or you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. His music was for the elite. So you had to be an elite player. That's totally understandable.
It's crazy because Zappa was so damn popular, but was he ever played on a radio?
I think the only song he ever had that got regular radio play was Valley Girl. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was a top 10. That was his only top 10 Billboard hit, if you can believe it.
See,
that's a shame.
I'm considered too young to know who Zappa is, but I love me some Frank Zappa.
Yeah. So yeah, I love there's so many styles of music that I love. It's just name a genre, and I can tell you one of my favorite artists of that genre, and that's about all I can say. It's like I don't wave a flag over any one thing. That would be silly.
Well, this past week we had a really major loss with Eddie dying.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts on Van Halen being gone now?
It's just another blow to real music, another blow to live music. I mean, Eddie was It's funny, as a guitarist myself, I was always I was a Stevie Ray Vaughan Hendrix fanatic. Those were like the two guitarists, Jeff Beck as well, that made me want to play and made me want to learn all those intricacies. But Eddie was a mutant to me. I didn't even. It took me until later in life to even understand his guitar playing. He was so amazing, you know. So yeah, it's a huge blow.
That actually answers Uber's question. Van Halen being your influence.
Yeah, I mean, how could it not? Uh, Eddie, like I said, Eddie's playing with something that I always stayed away from. He's just that amazing, and they even did a big tribute to Eddie on the ABBA show the other night. So I'm like,
Did you do a Van Halen song in the style of ABBA?
we actually did a couple of Van Halen riffs in no ABBA style. No,
I would love to see you try.
it's really funny. The album, our drummer in the Garage Boys, he brings a portable record player wherever we go, which is really cool and incredibly inconvenient at the same time. It's it was weird all summer. It was Van Halen 2, all things Van Halen 2 for the entire 4 week tour. So, and I had no idea that Eddie was even sick. I mean, I'm obviously living under a rock. I didn't know he was that ill. So it was a Van Halen summer for us, and there we are, you know.
When it comes to Van Halen, Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth?
Ooh.
Um, Good question. I just think the albums were better in the David Lee Roth era. I just like the songs better. It's not about the talent. It's not, you know, it's not about who's better, like who is a better, like Sammy was obviously way better singer
Yeah.
than David Lee Roth, and a really badass musician as well. But I just like the music of the Dave era. The Sammy era, I love a lot of the songs, but some of them just never really got me.
That's kind of like with me and like Motley Crue. I love John Corabi as a singer. I love him as a musician. That's probably one of my favorite Motley Crue albums. But Vince Neil was the guy for that band.
Yeah. I mean,
Kind of the same way with David Lee Roth and Hagar.
Yeah. At the end of it all, you like a song or you don't like a song.
Yeah.
And it isn't really about how badass of a player people are, to me anyways. I don't really care how good the musicians are on any recording. If they happen to be amazing, cool, but I don't really care. If I like the song, then I don't care if it's a Sex Pistols tune. Playing is garbage, but the tunes are great, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's like I don't get people like there's guitar players that are really fast. I respect that, but I can't really get into extremely fast playing like Yngwie Malmsteen and shit. Like I just can't do
Or
it.
Dragon Force.
Dragon Force is hit or miss because they do have some songs that vocally are really good, but like the speed just doesn't cut it for me.
Well, your brain doesn't really process that stuff. It's just a flurry of shit to me. When something is just like that's all it sounds like.
I got to have melody.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love Jeff Beck so much, is because even though you like, you know, he's you like him, you don't like him, but everything he plays is melodic. And then just when it matters, he'll friggin' floor you with some crazy shit for a minute. Then he goes back to melody. Zappa was, you know, going back to Zappa. He did the same thing. He was floor you with melody and then blow your mind with his technique. Malmsteen it's just all show off stuff, and he's amazing. Like he's the best at that, but I don't really dig it.
It's all about timing, and even some of the best players use silence as a great tool.
Yeah. When we were little kids, we bought the Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force, you know, because that was the album, like, and so it's kind of like a stack of pancakes, you know. It looks all awesome, and you eat after 5 bites, you're just sick of it. It's like, okay, I'm done with this shit now. It was amazing for the first couple of bites, and that's what Malmsteen was to me. I played the album over and over for a week, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done with this.
That's how I was when I first heard the band Five Finger Death Punch. The first 2 songs were great, and then I realized it's just repetitive. It's the same riffs.
You listen to Malmsteen, it's just like, oh, okay. You know that one scale really good. Got it.
It's like harmonic minor scale number 20 here. You know, like, all right, cool.
What do you think of guitars that use a lot of effects, like a bucket head and shit?
I like, well, it's all how you use it. If it's a good question. That's a really good question. Like, I personally just plug a guitar into an amp straight. That's just been kind of how I've done it. And other people have a shit ton of effects everywhere. And some people, it sounds like a big wash of nonsense. And other players, it's beautiful. It depends on the musicality of the person playing it. So I don't really care if somebody has a whole thing of rack mounts and pedals. If they get great tone out of what they do, then cool.
Yeah,
Right.
I've heard a lot of people giving like bucket head shit and stuff, and I'm like, dude, it sounds good, and it takes talent to know when to hit that effect pedal, when not to hit that effect pedal.
Yeah,
It might even take more talent than just to play the guitar.
yeah. There's two.
Especially if you're old school and you got an old pedal board, you got to do everything yourself, and it's not programmed.
Yeah, and those analog pedals too. They, they can be abused really easily. You can get out of control though. Those are difficult. If I take, say, 2 guitarists that are very, very, very processed a lot of stuff. Okay, say like U2's The Edge. He probably has like a semi truck of effects, but his guitar's playing sounds great. Whether you like U2 or not, it's just his guitar playing sounds amazing. Or Tom Morello from Rage. There's a lot of stuff going on, and he sounds badass. So who cares?
Like Neil Sean. Neil Sean's got probably a semi truck rig.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just to do something super simple.
Yeah. And he's one of the best too. He's one of the there that's just like, holy shit. Okay, you win.
Yeah, he's got one of the best, most beautiful guitar tones I've ever heard.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So it's really just it's how you use or abuse whatever technology you're using, and that's
another really good guitarist with effects is John Five.
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of him, and I keep getting told about him that I really should.
You should
really start getting in on him.
He's very underrated because he's played for David Lee Roth, he's played for Marilyn Manson, Rob Zombie, all these big acts. But a lot of people I talk to is like, I haven't heard him. I'm like, look him up.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I've heard about him all the time, and I've just never kind of dabbled into what he's doing.
He's one of the few people I've seen that can play Van Halen like Eddie Van Halen.
Cool.
And I'm like,
you told me I'm a kind of a YouTube junkie. That's when you jump down the rabbit hole and you start listening to this guy or that guy or this whoever, and then you just go into their catalog because you can find kind of everything they've done.
Everything of his is on Spotify, so you can just find it on there too.
I will. Like I was into this, listening to this. I don't know if you ever heard of a guitarist named Alan Holdsworth. He's dead now, but I mean he was an alien. Where his music is almost impossible for me to even get into. It sounds like an alien's playing guitar. So I went right down the Alan Holdsworth rabbit hole the other day, and I'm just like, oh my god, this dude isn't even human. But that's somebody you might want to check out just as a player. Just
I'll check him out. Another really underrated player, and then I'll get to Cap's question. Tom Morello. You mentioned him earlier.
Yeah, I love his playing.
He's amazing. Did you see the recent shitstorm he's been handling?
No.
Like usual, Tom Morello has been posting political shit, and people are like, what do you know about politics? He's like, I have a Harvard degree in political science.
And he's like, that's so crazy.
And like we've said on here multiple times, what machine do you think they're raging against?
Yeah. That's why you're never going to hear me give any political opinions. I don't have a political science degree, so I'm gonna just
Right.
That's just like people giving Black Sabbath crap for being political. That's like, have you ever listened to War Pigs? What do you think it was? Battle Swine? Like, come on now.
But
So
don't you think that that's all that needed to be said? Like, the Ozzy and the boys didn't need to do interviews and talk about the meaning of that song. It's pretty self-explanatory.
yeah.
Yeah.
And fucking amazing as well.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think guys like that needed to say anything. Their music spoke for itself. Just like Bob. I don't know if you guys are Bob Dylan fans, but he was political as shit in his early days, and he didn't need to say anything in interviews about what he was talking about. He just, here you go, here's the song.
There,
With Bob Dylan though, some people would argue you didn't know what he was saying.
there was nothing ever really hidden in Sabbath's vocals at all. Like even the lyrics, like you could even Sweet Leaf. Everybody knew that was a pot song. It starts out with Tony Iommi coughing after taking a hit. Like, come on now, we all knew what was going
That's
on.
like Snowblind. In between every other verse, he goes cocaine.
You know, I like that though.
Mhm.
When shit's like right out there in the open.
Yeah.
So, Kath wants to know: have you ever jumped off the Strat?
No, I haven't. It's a controlled fall. It's not like a wow shit kind of thing. But no, I haven't. I'm a pussy.
All we got from this talk is a bunch of porn stuff, and then I'm boring and I'm a pussy. That's okay.
You know, it's really funny, Mike, though. I'm going to get off the phone today and I'm going to go, oh, shit, the time that the midget had sex in person with the, oh, shit, I forgot to tell that story. Oh,
Hey, we are always open for a part 2.
All right. That sounds good.
Because there's so many guests that forget things because we have notes, but we don't stick to them all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, making excuses, but that's exactly what it is for me. I'm like, you what? It's like shit, so much shit happens on a regular basis. You're kind of like, whoa.
Well, the thing is with this show is I've realized with myself, I'm just awful at sticking to like a set plan and being scheduled because regular casual conversation is the best way to go because then you'll hate yourself for not asking something.
Well, ask Kathy if she's jumped off the Strat.
I will ask her actually. Before that, Ashley Grant wants to know any plans for new material.
Yeah, we've got it. We're mixing right now, so it's all I've got a little thing. I hate to use the word, because these days, like, there's no record labels, there's no like anything per se. We're doing everything ourselves. So I'm doing a solo project that I'm going to put on the Garage Boys website that I'm just going to kind of push myself, and the Garage Boys have a new thing coming out, and it's being mixed right now, and we do it all ourselves. I have a separate producer and engineer doing my solo stuff, and our keyboard player Aaron records and mixes and masters all of the Garage Boys stuff.
I admire that because you do it all yourself. You don't have to worry about a fucking studio record company.
Dude, record companies want people like us to sign a 360 deal so they get money off of everything we do, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. I've run into so many artists, that we've either done shows with or played with, and it's not I don't make comparisons. I just noticed that they're very poor. They have exactly done that. They've signed a 360 kind of contract, so they're doing, in terms of their music, they're doing a lot better than us. But at the same time, I mean, what's going to be left at the end of that? Are you going to be able to sustain yourself? That's
Right.
That's kind of important. I mean, it's not everything, but I manage everything. My wife does all of our books, and everybody, every dime that goes into the Garage Boys, we all keep. So we don't have to do day jobs. We don't have to do anything like that.
It's better that way.
That's the positive about the digital age is you don't have to rely on a record company anymore like you did in like the 80s and shit. You
Right.
can just
Right. But how do you get your stuff out though? That's the biggest thing. Like we're like this drop in a bucket in a million drops of rain trying to get people to listen to our music, and the only way you can do it is you get out and play. You have to get out and play for people now. There's no other. You can stick your stuff up on your websites and all of the social media platforms, but at the end of the day, if you don't get out and play live, you're kind of not gonna do it unless you're one of the lucky few that gets on The Voice, American Idol, all that stuff, and
Right.
then you're just a puppet for that.
most of the time people that even lose on those shows can get a record deal.
It's just the publicity of it. That's what gets them.
Sure, but you've noticed they get a deal out of it, and it's like what Diamond Dave said. You know, here today, gone later today.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing really well for 5 minutes, and then that's all gone. And then what do? They owe an entity everything. How do they go on from there? That's my question.
I remember the best thing I've heard so far is from the drummer of Exodus. They've been around since '79, and he's like, dude, you'd think we'd be millionaires by now, but we're literally overglorified traveling T-shirt salesmen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the weirdest thing right now for us. It's like if I say, "Oh, Garage Boys have a new song," blah 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 blah. You know, you get mild interest. You get interest. You know, the Garage Boys have new T-shirts. I want one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all right.
So is your music on streaming platforms right now?
We're Spotify, Reverb Nation, everything everything that you can find us on. I think you can find us on. So that's all Jackie that does that stuff.
At least you're on streaming platforms. I've actually talked to some musicians. They're like, we're not on streaming platforms. And then they complain about nobody hearing their music. I'm like, we can't find it.
Well, yeah, that's the double-edged sword. Like you want people to hear the songs, and streaming is the absolute fastest, best way to get people just to listen to you. However, you won't make a cent out of it. The music is devalued every day for us because, well, musicians should never give their music away for free. They should never give away CDs. Should never do that. Like anything, albums, sell your music. But the streaming thing, that's more on the streamer side of things. We got to get more money for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Spotify's actually been under a lot of shit because they give the least amount out of any other streaming platform.
Oh, absolutely. Like when we sell an album through Spotify, I think we get like $2.98 for an album, and it's like I said, we play live, so we keep ourselves going that way. But the days of like being a Steely Dan kind of band are over, where you go in the studio, you make an album, then you sit around snorting coke for the next 6 months off the proceeds, you know.
Now that we're on this topic, I want to bring it up to you, and I've talked about it before, but I don't know if it affects you and the Garage Boys at all, but have you seen Live Nation's new policy that they put out?
I have not.
They want bands going forward after everything gets back to normal to take a 20% cut. If you cancel a show, they want you to pay double your guarantee back. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe they said something about wanting a percentage of the merch sales as well. Because they took such a hit from the pandemic. And I'm like, that's not the artist problem.
Yeah, I mean, with any of those big entities like that doesn't surprise me hearing that. But a lot of times when you do shows, a lot of venues want a piece of your merch anyways.
Yeah.
They're always, in any venue that wants to do that with us, I just push the website. I just don't bother with that. What's the point? I gotta hire somebody to run the merch, pay them. Then I have to pay half of that to the. So if you're not moving tons of stuff, there's no point, you know. So no, that's kind of shitty because I mean, especially in the Live Nation thing, those mid-level acts that you're talking about, they look like they're making a lot of money, but they aren't. And so Live Nation want to take more from them, or anybody for that matter wanting to take even more is like, that's killing it. That's killing us more.
What sucks is there's a lot of venues that don't view it this way, but bands are supplying entertainment for your place, not you're giving them publicity. It should be they're supplying entertainment. You hired them. Like,
Yeah. It's backwards in a lot of ways. You know, like it's there's a lot of backwardsisms about bands that are playing where the venues are saying, "Oh yeah, you got to fill up our venue. You got to bring everybody out." Oh yeah, we're not paying you, but you know we're going to make money off all the beer everyone buys. We're going to make, and the band ends up filling up your bar. Like I've always said to bar owners and clubs and venues, I'm like, it's not my job to fill your room.
it's your job.
My job.
Like,
It's my job to put people in your room. It's not my
The
job.
the war between bands and promoters is real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
like
they want people like me and you to do their job when they're supposed to be promoting it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tony-
like obviously we'll have it on our social media and stuff, and we'll push it. That's fine, but we're not promoters. You guys are.
Tony one time commented on a post. Somebody wanted to book them or whatever, his band Thumbs of Silence, and he was like, "Yeah, we ain't paying you to show up. It's not my fault that your venue sucks and nobody wants to show up. You still pay us."
Yeah. I also love well, it'll be great exposure for you. And they, you know, like
My rent-
exposure doesn't pay the bills, bro.
Thank God my rent is only 4 exposures.
every you know, I'm stealing that one. I'm sorry. Can I steal that?
Yeah.
My mortgage it costs 10 exposures a month, so
I don't need
Exposure doesn't power my Marshalls. Sorry.
yeah, that one is always we get asked, you know, from time to time for that. You know, can you do this event? You do that event, especially the charity event things. I know I'm going to sound really jaded here, but charity events always want entertainers to come for free. They always ask. They always say, "Oh, it's great exposure for you. You're doing, you know, this, you know, heart or lungs or cancer or whatever, any kind of thing." And then you get there, you feel okay, yeah, I think I'm doing a good cause. I'm working for something good. And then you find out that, well, the sound company is getting paid, the vendors are all getting paid, like everyone's making money off of this, but the entertainment isn't. I'm like, but that's the thing that's kind of driving your whole charitable event is based on entertainment, and they're the only ones not getting paid for it. And we kind of and sadly enough, I stopped doing that because I felt like that, well, the Garage Boys go and do all these charity events, and I find out everyone's getting a dime except us. So I've had to, you know.
If the exposure is that good, then why aren't you getting paid? That's my argument. Like,
yeah. So whenever the Garage Boys do something that's charity based, it's because we believe in something. There's something that we want to do. You know, for a friend of ours had a stroke a few months or a year and a half ago, and we put together a thing for him, raised the money, gave it to him and his family, and I felt, okay, good. I feel validated in doing something that I believe in, but that's the only way I'll do it from now on.
Charity events are understandable because that nobody's getting paid for it. It's all donation. But like the venue's not paying people stupid because they say it's exposure. But if there's that many people showing up anyway, then the band could get paid.
Yeah. The only time I'll play for free is, you know, opening up for a big act. I mean, of course, that's their audience. You're getting you have the luxury of maybe grabbing 10% of their people. That's great. I can understand that. Any bigger acts that we've opened up for, which aren't a whole lot, but we've opened up for a few, and it's like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, I'm getting myself in front of your 20,000 people. Bring it on. I'll do it.
Yeah, and there's also festivals. If you're not on the main stage, I think it is for some festivals, you got to pay to be there.
Yeah,
there's like a buy-on option for a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, there's buy-on options for everybody. I mean, it's a real, you know, I guess that's why when you guys are talking about current events, I'm generally going to say, no, I haven't heard of it because it's not that I've given up on stuff where I can't get myself in the politics anymore. I just, because the politics wear everyone out, right? Like
It does.
You just start getting completely beaten down by constant bullshit that's in this business that I just kind of go, okay, fuck it. Book band, play music.
Politics are tiring, especially when like you try to respectfully just talk to somebody and they start berating you and calling you stupid for the way you think. And that's when I'm just like, bye, I'm done.
It takes 0.5 seconds for everybody to take a nice adult conversation and go really personal with it.
I love the fact when you do that. I have stopped engaging people that way when I personally feel they've said something completely childish or ignorant, and try to at least say, "Are you sure that's correct?" And all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, if they're ultra left, they'll start calling you a racist or a xenophobe or so. You're not even talking about anything like that. Or, oh, you must beat your wife. You must do that. What? Because I have an opinion. All of a sudden, I'm like, I must be some kind of criminal jackoff.
And then you have the right. They're like, you're an idiot, and and like all kinds of shit I've heard. And
it's the same thing. You get somebody that's ultra Fox News. And all of a sudden, oh, you must be some kind of libtard. Why don't you go? And you're like, oh, come on, guys! Like, Jesus Christ! This is why debate is a beautiful thing. Debate brings everybody around, and it helps everybody see common sense.
And it's always when the personal attacks start is when you supply facts and they get upset because it does not match what they believe.
Yeah.
And if facts don't match what you believe, then you're wrong.
Because at the end of the day, your truth is not the absolute truth to them.
Right. Have you guys ever seen? There's a movie called Zeitgeist. Pretty cool movie if you haven't seen it. But there is a statement in the movie where it says, being wrong should be celebrated because if you have a theory or an ideal and you are proved to be wrong, then the answer's still out there. So you should celebrate the fact that you're wrong and you didn't say blow something up based on a fact that you thought that isn't really a fact anymore. So it's like what's that? The one guy, Ben Shapiro, says facts don't care about your feelings. I kind of agree with that. If it's a fact, okay, I'm wrong. Cool. Let's move on and keep looking for the truth.
The thing is people keep forgetting that we are humans. We are animals. We can be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong.
And I've been wrong 50,000 times. Like that's just a part of life. I've made wrong decisions. I've made wrong business decisions, wrong personal decisions. And it's like, okay, cool. It's like here we are still alive.
King of poor life choices.
Here we are playing at a midget wrestling bout.
Oh, that's perfect. You need to next time sleep with one of them so you have one up on me.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that. We'll have to have a code word,
Yeah.
You're gonna bang midget successful.
So I was trying to tell Mike, since we're going to be moving out to Phoenix, but like, hey man, we're pretty close to Mexico. We can go to Tijuana and see a donkey show. The next thing you know, we'll be standing there by the door, and I'll look around, and Mike will be gone. He'll be up on stage.
Do you know what a donkey show is, Brian? And have you been to one?
Oh God,
this is. Should I be embarrassed that I don't?
No,
you shouldn't. It was famous for being on Jay and Silent Bob. Was it Jay and Silent Bob that it was on? Or was it Clerks?
I think so. Either that or Clerks.
These guys were like, you want to go to a donkey show? And he's like, yeah, sure. They don't know what it is. So what it is you go into a room and all these people are watching this guy or woman fucking a donkey.
That's really gross, but okay.
That's what people in Mexico do, apparently.
I was going to guess that's probably what it was.
It's exactly what you thought it was.
I needed to hear for sure.
You needed some clarification. So, is there anything you want to promote before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I guess Garage Boys are going to have a new record coming out, and what we're going to do is we're going to incite our fan base to help us think of a name for it. So we're going to get everybody involved, and I think it's going to be really good. It's a typical Garage Boys album. There's nothing the same. It's a bunch of tunes that are all over the place, but if you like 50,000 different artists, why shouldn't your songs reflect all the types of stuff you like? We've got that, and we're playing a nudist resort this weekend called Olive Del Ranch out in California. So if you want to take your clothes off and hang out with us, come on and hang out with us. And we'll be touring Oklahoma in November, so all the dates will be posted soon about once we solidify them, and we'll be up in Sturgis for New Year's.
So, do I have to wait until that show to take my clothes off, or can I just do that now?
You can do it now. I mean, if that's legal.
It's like, that's a good way to get rid of stage fright. Just picture everybody naked. Well, everybody is naked.
Everybody will. I mean, I hate to break it to you, like these nudist resorts, you think if it's not a bunch of Megan Foxes walking around. there's a certain amount of gravity factor that happens.
You see a lot of stuff that you can't unsee.
You don't see Megan Fox's. You see Danny DeVito's and John Goodman's.
Yeah.
Oh God!
If you see a Megan Fox, you are all right. But yeah, there's a lot of gravity factors going on there.
Whenever I used to do stand-up comedy, they're like, imagine the crowd naked. I'm like, okay, now I'm doing stand-up with a boner. Now what do I do?
Keep going.
Just do a Louis C.K.
Oh God, Dad, don't do that.
It was nice talking to you, Brian. We should do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Call me anytime, boys. And
all right.
Tony, best of luck with the band. Keep rocking, man. I'm happy you're doing it.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
And before we go, just check out the Garage Boys on their social medias. You can check them out on Spotify. You can check out their website, www.thegarageboysband.com. And next week, our guest on this show is Mike the Sack Fasano. What kind of name is that, brother? The Sack?
It sounds donkey.
Are you gonna watch The Sack?
With a name like that, I'm on. I'll be there.
Okay. Thank you once again, brother. We should do this again sometime.
Good time.
Let's do it again. Thanks, boys.
All right. Remember, everybody, live long, rock hard.